Hi everyone, good afternoon, good evening, and maybe good morning depending on where you are in the world. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, and thank you for joining our regular Monday through Friday 5 p.m. U.S. immigration law question and answer session where I take your questions live every day on TikTok, immigration lawyer John, Mondays and Fridays on Facebook, Tuesday, Thursday on Instagram, and Wednesdays live on YouTube. We're gonna take your questions as they come. I'm waiting for people to start trickling in, and we'll take care of that. And we'll jump some topics. I'm gonna start off by talking on the most urgent news that came out, and then take it from there for the next half an hour to talk about it. So with that, let's get it started. All right, so the big news that everyone is clamoring for is a different piece of news that came out immigration-wise, but I'm just going to focus on the main one that just happened. It came out a few moments ago, is the new proclamation by President Trump, the new executive order about non-immigrant visas. These are people who with temporary work type visas who want to come here, and the restrictive nature of things that are going to be happening for the U.S. or people coming to the United States. So let's start reading into that, and then questions please post and I'll go back and read those questions. So to start, this proclamation is called the Proclamation Suspending Entry of Aliens Who Present a Risk in the U.S. Labor Market Following the Outbreak of the coronavirus outbreak. So the reason for this, the reason why they're writing this is because the president is saying unemployment rate is high, and so we can't have foreign people coming and taking U.S. jobs. Now, the politics of it, you have different sides of whether this is actually true or not, the claims that he makes, it doesn't matter because he has the power to do these kind of things. So first of all, there was a previous proclamation, one that banned people with immigrant visas from coming into the United States. And immigrant visas are green cards, but not green cards. They're people who go to the U.S. Embassy, do an interview to get a green card, get a visa stamp in their passport, and then come to the United States. Until they enter the United States physically at the port of entry, they don't get green cards. So those people, if they had the immigrant visa and didn't fall within the exceptions of the previous proclamation, cannot enter the United States and not considered green card holders. So that's one thing he's mentioning here. And he's saying we had put a time limit of 60 days on that, but we're going to extend it, and it's going to go until the end of the year. So this immigrant visa travel ban is not going to stop at 60 days. It's going to end at the very end of 2020. It could be extended, could be made shorter if they want to, but right now they're thinking it's going to go until the end of the year. That's the major part of the proclamation of the previous one that's being continued here. So now let's move on to the non-immigrant visas. These are visas where someone's coming temporarily for working in this context, and they're saying certain categories, the H-1B, H-2B, the J visa, and the L visa, these are all different types of work visas. These are going to be subject to this ban along with their spouses and children, their dependents. And that's what we're going to look at here. And the president has said this proclamation will affect those people until December 31st, maybe longer, maybe shorter, but that's how it's looking for right now. So we talked about the immigrant visa, the people who who have done green card interviews or have to do green card interviews, they're banned for now unless they fall within the exceptions. But here, non-immigrant visa holders are suspended. Now, initially, the people that this will apply to are the following: one, people who were H-1B or H-2B visa holders, their family; two, J-1 visa holders as interns, trainees, teachers, camp counselors, au pairs, or summer travel work program, and any other alien or the following to join people who are family members. Now, there are some J visas that are scholars, so there may be exceptions to that. And then the L visa, intracompany transfer visas, so that's that. So who are the people that could get subject to this? They have to be outside the United States at this time. So if you have an L1 visa, you have an H1B visa, and you're physically in the United States, this won't apply to you. It says scope of suspension and limitation on entry. The suspension and limitation on entry pursuant to Section 2 above of this proclamation shall only apply to alien who is outside of the United States on the effective date. So if you're outside and you don't have the visa, so if you have the visa already, it doesn't apply to you, and you don't have an official travel document or other type of visa. So if you're outside the U.S., you haven't done your visa interview, had your visa yet, or have some other travel document that can make you here, this applies to you. So if you're already in working United States, have a visa, this doesn't apply to you, and it won't. So secondly, who are the people that have an exception to this? Well, it doesn't apply to green card holders. So if you're a green card holder, this does not apply to you. So you don't have to worry about that. Secondly, alien who is a spouse or child. Usually what they would do in the past when they did these travel bans is that if you're a spouse or a child of a U.S. citizen or green card holder, it's okay. Not here. Here it's just U.S. citizens. So if you get one of these visas, but your parents are green card holders, you don't have an exception. It's only a spouse and children of U.S. citizens. And then third, people who are essential to the U.S. food supply chain. So if you're coming in, a lot of these maybe farm workers or something, I think that's what they're going for. Fourth, if entry would be in the national interest of the United States as determined by the Secretary of State, Secretary of Homeland Security, or their designee. So if you have a really special condition to come here, you have to argue with and hopefully try to get it approved. The consular officers will do the review of this, so maybe if you're coming to a land border, CBP could do it as well. So there's these kind of things that happen. There's also other things, if it's critical to defense, law enforcement, diplomacy, national security, they may make exceptions to this kind of stuff. So you have to be mindful. And one thing they note is if an alien who circumvents the application of this proclamation through fraud, willful misrepresentation of a material fact, or illegal entry shall be a priority for removal by the Department of Homeland Security. And then it goes on to a lot of stuff about trying to crack down on people who have criminal history, try to crack down on people whose cases are not approvable, and there's all lots of stuff. So it shows they're increasing the enforcement of immigration laws pursuant to this order right here. And something to be careful of is if you are going to maybe use a tourist visa to come here and do change of status, because this is really for people who are applying for a visa. But if you're in the United States, let's say a student, F1 student, and you get H-1B, you could still do change of status. But they're saying maybe if you come here with a misrepresentation with a tourist visa, for example, to enter and then do change of status, they could consider that material misrepresentation and put you in removal. That will be a priority for them. So you got to be careful about this stuff. It's a very troublesome kind of thing. And again, what I want to reiterate that you might not know, this is again for people who are getting the visa from overseas and coming here, not people who are already here, because they're an exception to this rule, an exemption, so they could do change of status. But this is going to be a hell of a problem for people who were chosen in the H-1B lottery this year. What bad luck. You finally chose the H-1B, you pay the fee, and all of a sudden they ban you. There's going to be lawsuits of this. We'll see what happens with it. They're going to at least want their money back, the people who paid to go in that program. And so this proclamation goes into effect June 24th. The immigrant visa stuff was already in play. This non-immigrant stuff goes in June 24th. Today is what, June 22nd, I believe. Let me double check what day it is. It is June 22nd. So you have 2 days, I would say, get the visa come. But anyways, the embassies have been closed, so they haven't been issuing visas. It doesn't look like they'll be issuing visas for another year. So the first 6 months of the year are done, another 6 months to go. Hopefully by that time things will get better. They have a term in there for the government to every 60 days review it and make updates. We'll see, we'll see what happens. The election's coming in November. Even if the president does change, the president doesn't actually change if it's voted out until next year, I think in January. So these could continue to the end of the year one way or another, unless there's a change of heart or a reason to change that kind of stuff. We'll see. It's a really troublesome situation. A lot of people's lives are upended, and so we'll see how we're going to deal with all this as it comes up. So we have a very lively group today. A lot of people joining to hear this. We're going to start with Facebook to see what questions are here. I'll answer to the extent I can. Arun asks, what about extension to existing H-1B, L-1 visa holder in the U.S.? Yes, so if you're already in the U.S., this travel ban, non-immigrant visa holder or work visa travel ban does not apply to you, so you'll be okay. Amika says, can I exit the country and enter if I have a valid H-1B stamp? Yes, if you already have the visa already, it does not apply to you, you'll be okay. Sumita says, can I enter if I have a valid H-1B visa stamp? Yes, if you already have a valid visa in your passport before this date goes into effect, June 24th, you will be able to use that to come to the United States, but be mindful, like there's other travel bans that exist. For example, if you visit Europe, you can't come to the United States unless you're outside of those main European countries for 2 years. Or if you go to China, India, China, Iran, Brazil. So there's other things you gotta be careful of, but if you have the visa stamp in your passport already, it'll be okay, but we'll see. And then another question, IR5 for parents affected. This has, IR5 is green cards for parents of U.S. citizens. They've already been affected by the previous immigrant visa travel ban. And so that's an issue. It depends on when their visa was issued. I'll have to look at your particular case to see what happens, but it's a big problem. Let's see. Lisa asks, how will this affect people swapping from E2 to L1? If you're in the United States doing change of status, this will not affect you. If you're going to leave the US to get an L1 visa, it may or may not affect you. Probably not, because it depends on where you are and it's on tomorrow, and if you have a visa already, so you could be an exemption there. Kranthi asks, can an H4 with a valid visa enter US? Yes, again, if you have a valid visa, you can enter, or if you have it already. Subash says, what about spouse on H1B waiting for H1 stamping? Can she stamp H4, come to use it? No, if you don't have the stamp already, that's going to be a problem. They can come with a B1, but they may deny entry, because if you come with the B1, knowing that you're just going to come to the United States and bypass this executive order and do change of status, that could be considered material misrepresentation or fraud. So that becomes troublesome. I'd be worried about trying to come in on a non-immigrant tourist visa to come here and then to change of status. So maybe you come in on a tourist visa, leave, come and go, maybe, but it's a troublesome situation for those that are doing something like this, that are separated. It's just the issue. Sudhir asks, what about changing from J1 to H1B non-cap academic? Will that be affected? Change of status is not affected in the United States. Change of status is when you want to have one status within the US and you're changing it to another within the United States. That is not affected by this. Dishon says, I have a valid L1 visa and passport, then can I travel? Yes, if you already have a valid L1 visa, this does not affect you. There might be, again, other travel bans that affect you, but this particular one does not. Justin says, how about if you're a J1 scholar, how will changing status to H1B university will affect? Well, if you're changing status, it won't affect you. I'm not sure if J1 scholars are subject to this, because they didn't mention scholars, a term, but you never know. H1 extension doesn't get affected, change of status and extension don't get affected. Subash says she might not change it immediate. I'm not sure what you mean. I lost track. There's a lot of questions coming in really fast. Sabria, so my boyfriend is in the UK and already has a J1 student visa and ticket paid for, ready to come. Now, okay, so if you have the visa already that's valid, you're not subject to this travel ban, but being in the UK, you will be subject to the European travel ban. So he'll have to leave the UK for 2 weeks or try to find, contact CBP, try to get an exemption, try and get permission to overcome it based on some important reason for them to come. Mary said, what about tourist visas? There's no mention of tourist visas in here. Chosa asked if they already NOA and that, NOA and stuff, please don't use that. Immigration lawyers don't use that NOA terminology. You're saying you have a receipt and the case has been accepted. That's a whole different thing that we're not talking about here. Marlon asks, when will tourist visa be allowed to enter U.S.? Tourist visa has never been banned from entering the United States, so I'm not sure what your question is. Lisa says, what about changing from E2 to green card? That's a wholly different thing. If you're in the United States, it doesn't matter. You're welcome, Sabria. And finally, Henny asks, what if you have a valid 797 but no stamp in your passport and you leave the country? If you've been in the country when this goes into effect, this does not apply to you. It's one of the requirements. I'm going to take 2 more questions on Facebook, then stop it because I know there's questions on TikTok. Alamu says, how about H1 transfers? That's not affected. Again, within the United States, deal with USCIS, that's not affected. Eon says, wife with a valid H4 visa in 2020 India, can she travel? Yes, if you already have the visa, again, it doesn't affect you. So let's go to TikTok. I'm sure a lot of similar questions. I'll try to skip them if there's overlap. Bastik asks a completely different question. Sir, when is fingerprinting going to open up? I don't know. That's not clear. One thing to note is in the travel ban, it says it's important that everyone has to get fingerprints, biometrics, and the stuff, but they shut down biometrics. So I'm not sure why they put that in there. So in this travel ban order, but they say this stuff for a reason. They got some schemes and tricks up their sleeve. Asim says, sir, my case is pending for green card and I have a work permit. Can I fly to Kentucky and New York? Maybe. I mean, that's not the tone we're asking, but if you have a green card case pending, traveling domestic, usually it's not a problem, but I have to review your case to be able to see if looks like a problem at the airport, so I don't know. Callie asks, I have an I-130 approved, I entered EWI, can I apply a 601 waiver while asylum is open? You could apply for a 601A waiver, that's not the issue there, you could apply for it, but consult an attorney. Cashmon says, can you talk about travel ban? I have been. Rocky says, will B1, B2 visa be approved? That depends on your case. I don't know. Muhat says, so the new order will be included with the last immigration. So the new order included language extending the previous immigrant visa travel ban that was there. Let's see. Cash Mom says, my son was supposed to have an interview. My husband is a green card, but with the travel ban, I don't know. Well, I don't know, Cash Mom. I have to see your case to be able to answer details of that question. Wahid says, hello, sir. What day the court will announce will be open? I don't know. You just check the court's website. Cash Mom, can you talk more about the new trial ban for immigration? I just did. It's user 49. I'm on an H-1B. I can't travel. No, if you have an H-1B already, it doesn't affect you. Let's go back to Facebook. We have a question right here. He'll ask, how does this affect those who won H-1B lottery? The case was filed as a consular and are currently inside the U.S. Well, if you're validly in the U.S., you want to probably file change of status and do pre and processing is probably better. So talk with the employer's immigration lawyer who probably filed the H-1B petition and look into that. If you're already here in the U.S., that's good. Chozu asks, sorry, IR5, which is the parent of a green card U.S. citizen, filer has already received a notice of action. A case has not been approved. What do you think? I don't know. You gotta wait. That's that. Mohan says FX1. This is a spouse of a green card holder kind of case. Ban again until 2010. Yeah, this is a really annoying part of it. If you're a spouse of a green card holder and you go to get your interview or whatever it is, if you're outside being a spouse of a green card holder, this travel ban does affect you. Maybe if you as a petitioner become a U.S. citizen, that goes away. Or if they could show some sort of important reason for them to overcome it, this'll go. We have a question, Puneeth. Does this impact OPT or STEM OPT? No, we're surprised. We thought they were going to hit OPT. There will probably be massive lawsuits from the university system if that happened. So that's probably why they didn't. But I'm sure there's something up their sleeves to hassle that. Chuzal, you're welcome. Thank you for the questions. Let's see. Johan says, can I apply for DACA if I don't have it? Well, this is a separate thing, but the Supreme Court just gave somewhat of a lifeline for DACA to continue a little longer. I'm sure the president's going to cancel it again. So it wasn't the victory that everyone else is putting out there. The deferred action for child arrivals was not a real victory. But if you haven't, technically you should be able to apply for it right now until they stop it again. But USCIS has not given instructions as to how that's going to work, so we don't know. Beard Boy says, I'm waiting for a notice for interview for I-485. Will it get affected? No. If you're in the United States doing stuff with the USCIS, this travel ban does not affect you. This is where people are getting visas from the embassy. Shawam asks, question, I am back in the US. Can I start my K-1 visa or do I wait until everything died down? I don't know, Shawam. I need more information about your case, so just consult in private so we could look over that. He'll ask again, can an H-1B that was filed as consular processing can now be updated, change of status? Yeah, it's possible to change of status. There's issue with, yeah, it's possible to change the status. Just consult with a lawyer. That is possible if you're here. You're welcome, Wahid. Let's see. We got a lot of questions coming and going. It's going to be a busy day today. Naeem says, is Mr. Trump's order of immigrant visa still effective? Yes, as I mentioned, the immigrant visa travel ban is still happening. It's continued till the end of the year. Callie says, because 601A requires asylum administrative close, is it possible while asylum is open? Your 601A, I'm not sure if it needs your asylum to administrative close. I'm not a 601A specialist. I don't accept those cases, but I don't think the 601A is related to your asylum. They're two different things. So consult with an immigration or private. You might have other inadmissibility issues that need to be looked into. Let's see, user 49 says, I can outside of USA and come back. I have an H-1B. So this person has an H-1B stamp. They're saying, can I leave and come back? This travel ban order does not affect you. Now, whether you can come back, whether there's not another travel ban that affects you, I don't know, so I can't give you that individual advice. This current travel ban that just came out right now today does not affect you. Naeem says, are the embassies scheduling any interviews? Some embassies have begun doing some interviews. It depends on which country you're from, but it's just very general like that. Leba asks, until when F2A is bans? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Probably mean barred. At least until the end of the year, it looks like. Oh yeah, banned. So in the end of the year. Mohan said, that's so annoying. I'm waiting for my husband since 3 years. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks when couples, especially your loved ones, are separated for this long, or you have children separated. It's very unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear. I'm sorry about your situation. Skullrock says, citizen marriage cases approved fast or green card holder. Citizen marriage, which one's faster, spouse of a citizen or green card holder? Historically, spouse of a citizen. Right now, the timeline's a little different, and also depends on which field office is looking at your, or service center is looking at your case. So it just depends. Just do what you gotta do. If you're gonna do a green card, just file for it. You're welcome, Beard Boy. Saptrick asks, how long it takes for fingerprints? I've already 4 months submitted my file. They have shut down the biometrics or fingerprinting appointments because of COVID-19. No one knows how long it'll take. We have to wait for USCIS to notify us. Go to USCIS website, uscis.gov, to check to see what the timelines are for that. Sunny says, I filed for asylum. It's already more than 1 year, but it still doesn't get an interview. How long? It could be years until your asylum interview happens. There's no fixed timeline for that. You're welcome, Mohan. Okay, let's go back to Facebook. Niha asks, spouse is outside the U.S. I'm currently on H1. Can they still come to the U.S. with either H4 or F1? Well, if they already have the H4 they come in, they can't get a new H4 visa, unfortunately. They can try getting an F1, but it may be denied because they'll say your spouse on H1, you may be coming here to do a change of status to H1B. So if they are going to do an F1 student visa, it has to be a legitimate student visa, like they really want to come and study. If there's any doubt to that, or they come here and do F1 change of status, potentially they could be charged with misrepresentation, saying you lied to come to school here with the intent of getting an H4 visa. So be careful, just be careful, and consult with a lawyer. It's the best thing to do. Nuri asks, I'm a J1 visa and I have a flight to Spain tomorrow, the 23rd. Could I be able to? Well, if you have a valid J1 visa on the 24th, if you have a valid visa already, then this doesn't apply to you. Hill asks, does travel ban apply on F1 OPT visa holders with approved EAD card? Can they leave? This travel ban does not. Now, again, if you visit Europe, for example, the travel ban will affect you. If you visit China, it will. But this travel ban does not affect, first of all, F1 visa holders, and secondly, people who are in the United States on the 24th when this goes into effect. And Sandra asks, do you think they exempt J1 students non-working? No, let me see really quick what they said about J1s. J1 to extent participating in an intern, trainee, teacher, camp counselor, au pair, or summer work trial program. So it doesn't look like the student visa types are there, but it depends on exactly what student you are and stuff like that. I'd have to know your case individually to be able to advise on that. Nuria, you're welcome. Okay, let's go back to what's it called? TikTok, and see what the questions are here. When will the travel ban end? What ends at the end of this? Well, it may end this year. It may end sooner, it may end later. We don't know exactly, but at least the end of this year. Leba asks, I'm a PR, a green card holder. If I go to my country, can I come back? Yes, green card holders are not affected by this travel ban, nor should they ever be affected by any travel ban, but who knows. Sandra asks, high school exchange students. Doesn't look like it, so try and give it a shot. But Sandra, they make things up, One thing that you're going to experience is that although, for example, this regulation says that if you had the H-1B visa already, it doesn't affect you, you still have to go to an airline counter, and the airline has to issue a ticket to get on the plane. And many times, not many times, but sometimes, they don't understand what's going on with the rules. So they won't let you get on the plane. And they'll say it's travel ban, this and that, because they're afraid to board you. There's a big fine, a monetary fine the airline has to take on if they mistakenly let someone enter the United States or get on a plane to enter the United States without, that they shouldn't have. So they're afraid, so the person at the airport agent might say, no, we won't do it. So just because this travel ban doesn't apply to you doesn't mean it won't create problems for you. Unfortunately, that is the case. Chozo asks, do you think contacting any attorney will help regarding IR5? If you could show there's a, maybe, it depends on your case. It's case-by-case basis. Haney asks, what about green card application in the U.S.? No, it does not apply to people within the United States. Arnav asks, can I apply for a new H4 if I and my spouse are in the United States? Yes, if you're in the United States on the effective date of this travel ban, the travel ban does not affect you, and you could always go and get a new visa. But who knows, they can make new travel bans, so we never know. And so that's that. And going back to TikTok, yeah, Cashflow, I'm sorry. You're welcome, Gene. Lopez says, I have DACA. We'll see what happens with that. If it's close to expiring, you should try to get an extension. Pre-Qatar asks, how I go to India and get married in 2019, so when my husband will be here, I'll also have a green card. I don't know. It'll take a while. These travel bans will affect them, and I don't know about your individual case, what issues exist. Let's see. We got a lot of questions. I'm starting to lose my voice. Shakro says, can I start my parents' application and bring them here while I'm a green card holder until I become citizen? No, you have to be a U.S. citizen to apply for your parents' green card. Miyad asks, do they start green card interview in the office? Did they start? No, not yet. They're not doing green card interviews in the United States yet. Now that they're opening USCIS offices to in-person interviews, it's only for naturalization and citizenship cases, with exceptions for some green card adjustment interviews that have some sort of emergency situation. Okay. User for my best dressed lawyer, thank you so much. Miyad says, did anyone got the green card interview without, get a green card without a marriage green card interview? Some people have said they've got it. I haven't seen it, but some people said they got it. Figueroa says, I just got my green card. What's next? Well, it depends on what you need. Go consult with the lawyer and see what's going on. Massa says, hello, my favorite lawyer. Hope all is well. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well as well. Phil Dunphy, is that you? Phil Dunphy. Which one was Phil Dunphy? Is that at The Office? Phil Dunphy. It sounds familiar. I can't remember which character that was. Okay, Naughty says, what is the easiest path for U.S. citizenship for my British fiance to take to move here? Well, if you're a U.S. citizen, do a fiance visa, or better yet, a marriage visa is probably more appropriate, and then do it. But consult with a lawyer. Oh yeah, Philadelphia. Yeah, actually, I've got Philadelphia a lot. That does make sense. You're not the first person to say that. Okay, let's see. Krathy says, how many days H4 can stay in the U.S. if H1B is stuck outside the UN? I don't know. I have to check out the individual case. What does it mean, cases under review? It means your case is under review. They're thinking about it. I'm headquartered in California. You're asking where I'm headquartered, but I take cases from everywhere. My location doesn't matter for these kind of cases. Aaron Assal says, Martin family, yes. Aaron says, can you touch on near future H1 change via rulemaking of any plan? I don't like to speculate. There's a lot of things you hear on the internet, but until we get the actual rule change, I'll go through that when it does happen. But until then, I don't like to just, share information that's not 100% valid and we don't know. So until then, I just say be patient and hopefully it gets better. So Dinesh says, does new immigration order affect the entry of green card holder spouse? Yes. Well, not the new one extends the previous existing ban on spouses of green card holders. So it's a pretty crappy situation. Excuse the language. Rikmo says, does anyone feel nervous with that security cam? Yeah, for real. It's on TikTok. Can't see it, but there's a security camera right above me. Well, we got to watch out for people what they're doing here, so we have to have that. Choza says, can I contact you on Facebook? Not really. If you contact me on Facebook, you're going to get an auto response that says email me. So you need to email me, and we have to schedule a consultation. And there is a consultation fee with my office, so be prepared for that. But we'll do it when it comes up. Let me back up the camera a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Whew, a lot of information. We have a large group both on Facebook and TikTok today. I'm glad to get this information out. This will be on video so you can watch on YouTube again and go through all these kind of questions all over again. Hopefully we'll get that on next day or day and a half. Bella asks, will spouses be prioritized when consulates start to open up? Probably, but who knows? They do what they want to do. User 49 says, donation gifts, appreciate his hard work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Savannah. Oh, hey, Savannah. Let's see. Hi. Let's see. Lisa asks, have they announced how long the European ban will last? I don't remember, but it's probably ongoing until they make a decision to stop it, unfortunately. Where's my office, Shargas? I'm in Los Angeles, but I'm only doing a video-based consultation, so my location doesn't matter. We do a Zoom video consult, and every type of case that I handle only requires me to email, mail, or call the immigration service or upload documents. So that my location doesn't matter. I could practice with any case throughout the country. Lisa, okay, Chuzo, thanks for answering questions for free thumbs up. You got it. That's why I'm glad I have this half-hour daily Q&A session, because especially when these kind of things happen, if you are afraid or don't know what to do, you get a source that's actually read the rules and could give you that. Rikmo asks, how will the Brexit affect Schengen agreement? Well, I'm not a European immigration lawyer. I can't answer that. I only handle U.S. immigration law. So we got a couple minutes left. If you have some last questions, let me know. I had a couple of stuff I was going to talk about, but no time today. My lovely assistant is bringing a glass of water. Thank you so much. Is it obvious in my voice? So what's going on? Yeah? Okay. So 1 or 2 more questions until I got to just go out. I got another consultation right after this, and a lot of writing and emails and phone calls. I'm getting them right now because a lot of people are worried about this stuff. James asks, how does this affect L2 visas who are abroad with a valid stamped visa? My wife is stuck in the UK. Well, this travel ban won't affect them because they have a valid visa right now, at least on the 24th. The problem is with being in the UK. So there's a travel ban for people who are in the UK. Your wife will need to leave that Schengen agreement or UK or Ireland zone and not go to Brazil, Iran, or China. Wait it out for 2 weeks and come here unless they could find some sort of exception to these rules. Okay, so choose out please your email really quick. My email is info@jqqlaw.com. info@jqqlaw.com. But choose, let me tell you, with the situation you have with your parents, I have cases like yours that are stuck. There's not much I could do, so I don't want to give you any false sense of me able to do something. Maybe if we could show there's some sort of national security situation, we try to reach out to CBP, the port authorities. Maybe they'll make an exception, but it's gonna be really hard to help you. I'll be honest about that. Fernando, J2s are affected. I mean, future J2s. Again, after watch the video of this will be up on YouTube, my JQ Law Firm page. There's a lot of questions about this kind of stuff. It depends on which stage you are in the visa process. So we had a good question here. It said, are you wearing pants? Yes, I am. I do wear pants on these just in case, if you can tell on TikTok, I made the camera lower if you guys couldn't tell. I make sure to do that for these kind of, not always. If I'm sitting down, I might have some shorts on, but because I'm standing here, you never know what the camera is going to get, so I just make sure to wear pants. Sandra asks, after applying asylum, how many days to get alien number? When you apply for asylum and you get the receipt, the alien number should be on the receipt. So that's that. There's no rush for you to get an alien number anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Let's see. Nick Lee asks, what qualifies for emergency advance parole? It's just some sort of... So emergency advance parole is if you're in the U.S. and if you travel, it becomes a problem, so you have to get a special permission to travel and come back. To get it faster, you need emergency. What applies to it depends on your situation. We have to show some sort of urgent humanitarian, national security, defense kind of reason, something like that, to tug at their heartstring to get that. They become very strict on this. I used to get these every time, without a doubt. I was 100%, batting 100% on getting emergency advance parole. But this year I had 3 denied. 2 of them I was able to fix. I made a request last week that was denied. We're working on fixing that. So I'll be able to fix them all. But it's a lot of work. It takes me hours and hours to do. I used to do it for free for my existing clients. Now I have to charge several hours worth of time because it's not as easy as it used to be. Yeah, so if it's under review, just gotta wait. Okay, so let's see. One last question. Thank you for everyone who followed me right now, but I'm about to leave. Sejut SC, I don't know what the name is. Does a new ban on green cards affect applications that are in process? It depends on what kind of application and what part of the process you are. So that's case specific. So that's that on TikTok. Won't answer any more questions there. Come back tomorrow. I'll be here 5 p.m. Pacific, Los Angeles or Pacific time on JQK Law Firm Instagram page. So JQ Law Firm, join me on Instagram. I'll be there live every day, every weekday live on TikTok, Monday through Friday, and you catch the video of this on YouTube. Last question, Fernando asked, I have a J2 issued on 2019 and I also got the EAD card. If you have an existing J2 that's valid, this new travel ban won't affect you, but there's existing travel bans like for the coronavirus and stuff like that you gotta be mindful for that could hit a person. So if you really want case-specific advice, just consult the attorney in private to get help on that. And Shork asked, do I need to get a lawyer to bring my wife or can I do it by myself? That's up to you, it is up to you. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining. What a lively, non-stop session. Thank you for just listening to me go through it. And hopefully I had some good news that could make things a little bit better for you because I'm full of bad news today. But that's just the nature of the administration right now. All right, everyone, God bless, be safe, and we'll see you all tomorrow on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. Bye-bye.